Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Ike and I just talk about whatever I want over me doing speed paints of hot old ladies. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about weirdos on Twitter. So obviously there are weirdos on every site on the internet, of course, but I feel like the weirdos on Twitter are like a special breed. And if you've been on Twitter, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. This video is going to include ex-mutuals as well, and obviously I'm not going to be naming any names, but like, if you know, you know. A couple of things before I get started. First, I think I'm just going to, I'm going to try to include everything in one video, so hopefully this video will be more on the lengthier side in comparison to my other videos. But if it starts getting too long, then I will just have to make a part 2 sometime in the future. Second, as you may or may not know, my memory is not the best and tends to be fairly fuzzy. So for a lot of these, I won't be going into extreme detail about what happened. Like, I've been on Twitter since I was like 18. That was almost 9 years ago. So I'm not gonna have a perfect memory about everything and the timeline and all that. I might even miss some people. But if I do remember enough stuff, then I will be including them in the next part. And also, this is not going to be in any particular order. I will just go on to the next incident as I remember them. And finally, the speed paint for this video is of another random retro drawing of mine. So I feel like I've gotten closer to perfecting the craft of creating, drawing in a more authentic retro style as compared to that other video I made some weeks ago. So yeah, so I hope you guys like it. I really enjoy it. It's very different from my usual style and how I usually draw, and it looks way more authentic. Like, I literally created this new brush for the outline to like mimic ink pens that they would use, American cartoonists would use in the 1970s, and I really like how it came out, and I really like the coloring, and you know, you'll see as the speed paint goes on. But yeah, I'm just very happy with it. And just one last thing, depending on the length of this video, I may include another speed paint if this one gets finished before I finish saying everything I need to say. So I will then, you know, hop back in to, you know, talk a little bit about that piece. But just letting you know, depending on the length of this video, there may be more than one speed paint. But yeah, so with all that out of the way, let's get right into this video. Okay, so the first experience on the list, I'm going to be talking about the time I got attacked for drawing my first age gap couple. Between adults, of course. I think at the time I was like 21 years old, so this was back in like 2018 on an older account. You know, before it was cool to love MILFs on Twitter. But anyways, as you may or may not know, I have 2 OCs named Robin and Ava Nora. I don't draw them much because they're going to be in an upcoming project of mine. But yes, they are still around. Well, maybe I should draw them more regardless. But anyways, if my memory is right, they are the first couple OCs I've ever drawn who had a significant age gap between them like that. I altered their ages a little bit since then, but when I first created them, Robin was 20 and Ava Nora was 35, I believe. If I find the original picture, I will insert it here. But yeah, those were their original ages, and I did not provide any other context other than posting the picture and saying that they're a couple. All of a sudden, I got someone in my mentions saying that this is weird, this is gross or whatever, and like, okay, I get it. That type of stuff is not for everyone, and that's completely fine. But they were saying some crazy shit, like this has weird implications, and trying to tell me why this type of relationship is bad and things like that, and how this is gonna lead impressionable young adults into problematic relationships or whatever the fuck. And mind you, I never said how they met, what the relationship was like, how long they're in a relationship. They just saw their ages and began to assume the absolute worst case scenario. And like, when I responded to that one person, suddenly like 2 or 3 more people came out the woodwork to be like, nah, this shit is weird. And mind you, not a single one of these people followed me. So I was confused as hell as to where they're even coming from and why they care so much in the first place. It was clear that the other people who felt the need to jump in were some type of mutuals or besties with each other, or in some type of group chat or something. But how they found my art in less than like 10 minutes after me posting it was beyond me. I never put hashtags or anything on my art, so it's most likely they saw it when someone retweeted it, but I don't know. It was just fucking weird to me. And I really wish, instead of trying to explain myself to these people, I had just said, and that's fine, you really do not have to like it, I don't give a damn, and then moved on. Like, I don't know how many times I had to say that they didn't meet when the relationship would have been wildly inappropriate, but they kept hounding me over it and moving the goalpost on why it's weird and I'm a bad person for promoting this type of relationship, as if I'm somehow responsible for the actions of other adults on the internet. And to be honest, I really don't remember how that conversation ended, but they eventually fucked off and I continued projecting my MILF girlfriend fantasies onto my OCs, as I should. And as far as I know, no one else has really given me any shit for it or had a huge problem with it since. So yeah. Second on the list is an ex-mutual of mine who was popular, I'd say. I'm going to name them Airhead, and it should be obvious why. I'm not going to lie, for most of my mutuals, I don't even remember how we became mutuals in the first place. Usually, it's just me noticing someone with cool and nice art following me, and then I give them a follow back, or vice versa. Simple as that. And then if I'm lucky, or feeling social, we exchange replies here and there. Now, I was not besties with this person or anything, but we did draw each other art once, but that was the extent of it. I followed their private account too. And for the longest time, it was ordinary stuff, venting about life, posting works in progresses, etc., etc. And then one day, Airhead out of the blue was like randomly talking about people who like to draw hypersexualized art of like certain taboo topics. I don't think I really need to list them, but you get what I'm trying to say. Anyways, she was saying that she abhorred that content, but then in the same breath said that she gets the appeal. Like, bitch, which is it? And like, you contradicted yourself in the same post. And I know that this was like in 2020, because after that weird ass post, she then went on to say some weird shit like, how do black people expect us to be on their side when they're so damn aggressive about it? And before you ask, no, she is not white, she is Chinese. Like, bitch, what? I don't think I need to explain why people might get intense about, not wanting to be shot for no reason, especially after literal decades of asking nicely and meekly not to be killed over nothing, and obviously that shit was not working. But yeah, that tweet did it for me. I quickly just blocked Airhead everywhere. The way that she thought that she could say some stupid shit like that around me, it really is always the ooh-woo, hyper cutesy art style pastel girlies too, who are like crazy racist or some shit like that. Like, people were not fucking joking. It's really true. Anyways, on to the next weirdo. This incident also happened in 2020. Now, at this time, I had just gotten out of an abusive relationship, and I was just trying to get back into the groove of drawing and posting regularly again, and just try and leave the BS I just went through in the past and put it behind me as quickly as I could. Anyways, a little bit after the fact, I had posted a picture of my design for SpongeBob Bimbo version for funsies, and because I love SpongeBob so much. You can still find it on my account. I basically wrote for the caption, I wrote something like, so in conclusion, I can draw whatever I want, right? And someone responded with some petty shit like, did this person really just gender bend SpongeBob? Or some stupid shit like that. And like, first of all, If you were smart, you would clock SpongeBob's trans femme slay. So don't get mad at me, okay? And then under that tweet, they said something about my abuser, like trying to imply that I did something to my ex because they deleted all their Twitter accounts or moved to a private account or whatever. I don't know what happened to that weirdo. But like, if this person was paying attention, I disappeared off of social media for a while before they did and made my new account. Eventually, my abuser fucked off somewhere because they knew I was telling people about the things that they did to me. So that's why their scary ass just deleted everything, if not just stayed to a private account. I think the person who was accusing me eventually got their account deleted or suspended. But yeah, people on Twitter are so fucking irritated and can't mind their business to save their life. And the fact that their nosy ass just went straight to the worst possible scenario, like low-key like accusing like I like did something to them, like their dumbass really thought they were onto something. Like shit like that is why I will never publicly post about another relationship of mine, because people are so fucking weird. Like when you get into a relationship, people are so fucking weird to you and they think they're entitled to know your business and all the details about your present and past interpersonal relationships. Like, bro, get the fuck back and get yourself your own life to worry about, okay? Next on the list, I'm going to be talking about an old mutual of mine who turned out to be like insanely lesbophobic out of nowhere. And yes, if I didn't mention it before, if you didn't catch on, then yes, I MILFGOD, am lesbian. Anywho, just for the record, this mutual of mine was a gay trans man, which, you know, cool. And mind you, I was mutuals with this person for a long ass time before I confronted them and then ultimately blocked him. I was mutual with him since I first joined Twitter in 2015. So it's been like a long time that we were mutuals before anything like this happened. I will be referring to this mutual as Shithead. So Shithead and I had basically been mutuals since I first joined Twitter in 2015, like I said. We would just here and there compliment each other's art, followed each other on private, etc., etc. But we were never like best friends. We were cool, we were chill, but not that close. Now, shit didn't hit the fan until we both got into Cookie Run around like 2021. Mind you, they did a bunch of weird shit to other people in another fandom that we were both in, that got them ostracized before that. And that should have been a red flag to me, but I just contributed it to them just being young, and I gave them the benefit of the doubt. And I'm talking like constantly trying to romantically pursue someone who had zero interest in them whatsoever, to the point that that person had told them to just stop contacting them. So turns out he was just a fucking weirdo. Who knew? Anyways, around this time, I would occasionally see tweets of him yelling about like homophobic lesbians, just foaming at the mouth over these imaginary homophobic lesbians, and I would be reading the post like, dude, what the hell is this moron even talking about? But I actively ignored these posts because it'd be over something so stupid and silly, like they saw someone get called the F slur by a 16-year-old lesbian K-pop stan, or someone called the gay man flag or whatever it's called, the toothpaste flag, and then would cry about it for 11 minutes and then eventually move on to talk about their OCs or some other shit I didn't pay attention to. So obviously it had me raising an eyebrow and it was weird as hell, but I just decided to ignore them at the time. Like, not to mention, I came out as lesbian in August of 2021, and he gave me a measly little congrats under my post, so it was like, whatever, cool. And I brought up Cookie Run earlier because for some godforsaken reason, a lot of people in that fandom just straight up fucking hate lesbians. Like, I will never forget the time I was invited to a Cookie Run server, and one of the rules was literally that you could not call any of the characters lesbians for some stupid reason. But they'd be in there calling fucking Yogurt Cookie, the Oriental ass Cookie, a bratty bitchy bottom all day long. Like, I was going fucking crazy in there. If I had to read one more fucking message about that stupid twink being a bratty bottom, I was going to lose my fucking marbles. Anyways, I say all that to say, that lesbophobia is not uncommon among people who love Cookie Run, and that included Shithead. So, due to my terrible experiences in that previous server, I had made my own Cookie Run server, which I eventually deleted after the company announced that they were getting into NFTs. And, anyways, before that, they were a part of my server along with other mutuals, friends, and other people. And it was mostly chilling there, and Shithead behaved himself. He didn't bring any of that weird-ass nonsense in there, so I let him stay. Probably because there was a whole bunch of lesbos in there, and he knew that he would get fucking jumped. But anyways, one day, he was on one of his homophobic lesbian rants again. But this time was a little different. He was like, quote, retweeting a gay man of the day type of account, I think. And the original post had said something like, there's no reason for y'all to be hating on lesbians the way that y'all do. They're on our side. They're our sisters, or something like that. And of course, Shithead just had to go and insert himself in his fragile little feelings, talking about okay, but what about all the homophobic lesbians? You not even gonna address all the homophobic dykes threatening our community? Or some chronically online take like that. And that was it for me. I was like, oh no, I am not tolerating this stupid shit anymore. In a matter of minutes, I removed him from my server, I soft blocked him, and I went about my day. It wasn't until a couple of days later when I received a DM from him either asking why he was removed from the server or... No, actually, I think he was asking if the server was deleted or something, and if that's wrong, then he asked why I soft blocked him, but I'm pretty sure Shithead was playing dumb and asked if the server was deleted, because obviously when he sent me the DM, he had to notice that we were no longer following each other. So I replied some hours later and just bluntly said, you got kicked from the server because of your lesbophobic ass comments, or something to that effect. And all he said was, oh, okay, I see, or something like that. It was so crazy. He didn't even try to deny it or explain himself or defend himself or anything. Just, oh, right. Which basically told me everything I needed to know. Anyways, I left him on red and I went about my day. I originally wasn't going to block him because he wasn't going to be popping up on my TL no time soon, that's for sure. But something a little later had told me to just check. Just take a little sneak peek at his account one last time. So, lo and behold, this motherfucker vagued me, talking about this is why I need more friends who've actually been in queer spaces in real life before. And I just blocked that stupid bitch. Like, don't you ever in your fucking life talk about me like you know me. I've been in and navigated queer spaces since I was like 20 years old. Don't you ever tell me where the fuck I've been, bitch. And while I have never been in spaces exclusively for gay men, I doubt they just sit around and seethe and mauled over these homophobic lesbians. Like, they are in there acting like, socializing, making friends, falling in love, doing poppers in the bathroom, having a life. Like, you might actually want to get out and try that sometime. Gay men who actually go out and have a life are not worried about what dykes got going on, and lesbians not worried about gay men like that neither. So, anyways, haven't seen their weird ass pop up anywhere since, so yippee, good riddance, bitch. Now, this next weirdo I'm going to talk about, I actually have screenshots for this one because at the time of me working on this script, this literally happened like a couple of days ago. So, walk with me. Let's rewind back in time to February 11th, 2024. I post my 2024 Meet the Artist for Funsies because I think I haven't done one since like 2021. So, I posted an updated version and went about my day. Fast forward a couple of days later, and I see these 2 long-ass replies in my mentions that I didn't really read at first because I was out with a friend. So, but I just saw a wall of text in my mentions and a picture of me attached to one of them and just thought, oh Lord, what is this? But didn't really get the chance to read them until I got home. And by the way, You won't find the replies now because not only did this person who tried to call me out lock their account as soon as I replied, they also deleted their replies. But my smartass got the screenshot, so we're about to get into that. So this is what they wrote under my Meet the Artist drawing. Okay, so I'm gonna say this as politely as possible, as I've been a fan of your work and content for a long time. But like, you are much thinner than this. I know there are style choices and all, but I'm a little uncomfy that you're drawing yourself like this when you look like this. I'm like an actual fat person. While yes, small fats exist, you've drawn yourself to look very particular, and while I don't have the words for it, it makes me uncomfy, and hope you'll unpack why you've decided to draw yourself like this, especially when you've mentioned that you like big girls. Like, first of all, I don't even look big or fat in this drawing. This reaction would have been 100% warranted if I drew myself or tried to pass myself off as a big or fat person, but I don't look fat, so calm the hell down. 2, if you were really a fan of my content for so long, you would know this is not the first time I've drawn myself or I've exaggerated my own features. Like, the picture of me they used for an example is a blurry ass photo that was taken on my little cousin's iPhone, doing a weird ass pose from a distance. I'm not saying, actually I am fat, but exaggerating your features is not a fucking crime. And 3, it's really not uncommon at all for artists to do that. Like, artists have been exaggerating their own features in their artwork since the beginning of time. Even now, a lot of artists normally draw themselves as some sort of like blob of a person. What, are you gonna call them out too for not drawing themselves 100% accurately? Anyways, this was my reply to them. I'll start off by saying that the low quality picture of me that you saved to your phone is not a very accurate representation of what my body looks like in real life. Yes, I exaggerated my hips and thighs a bit, but I don't look big or fat at all in the drawing. And I don't need to unpack anything. It's as simple as how I've been trying to gain weight for a long time, and my body refuses to retain the weight for a variety of reasons. I don't see what that has to do with me liking women on the bigger side, but it doesn't really feel polite to approach someone and make comments about their bodies like this for exaggerating their features in their artwork. That's literally all I said. Not to mention that my bestie, Ari, if you're watching this right now, hey bestie. My bestie, Ari, who I've met in real life multiple times before, replied to this user as well. And they said, just curious, but did you scroll back half a year to dig up that photo of them for a gotcha? I understand your complaint, but 1, that's weird behavior, which it is. Why the fuck do you have a picture of me saved to your fucking phone? You better delete that bitch. And 2, having met them in real life, I'd say the piece is fairly close. Maybe a bit exaggerated in the hips, but that's Ike's style. 3, if you really had an issue, why comment publicly? This could have been a DM easily. And yeah, everyone who knows me and has seen me knows even though I'm not fat, I do got some shape to me. I will post some pictures of myself here. But yeah, my boobs are fat, my waist is small, and my hips are wide. And I did make my hips bigger than I intended to, but I was too lazy to go back and fix it at that point. And I really didn't think anyone would give a damn at all until this happened. Anyways, not only did this person blocked my friend Ari, they blocked me, deleted their replies, and then locked their account. Like, bitch, what the hell was the point of all that if you're just going to block me if I didn't immediately bend to your will? Was the point just to make me feel bad? Because like my friend pointed out, if you really wanted to have a conversation with me, you would have DM'd me about it. My DMs are always open. What, did you just want me to go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I didn't even consider how you would feel about this picture of myself, random Twitter user. Let me take this down and redo the entire picture from scratch. No, I'm not doing that. It's not a big deal. And the fact that this person said, especially since you said you like bigger girls. Okay, and? Like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? Yes, I prefer big girls over skinny girls. What's the issue? Like, are you really trying to imply I'm some sort of chubby chaser? And that pissed me off so bad. People are so right. when they say that they can't even find fat people attractive without being accused of having some sort of fat fetish. God forbid the person who used to be that little fat girl back in the 2000s grows up to love and admire fat bodies and appreciate them too. But like what? Now that I'm skinny, I'm weird because I drew my hips a bit bigger than I meant to, and I also find bigger girls hot? Don't you ever in your fucking life speak on me or my body again, you self-centered, cry-baby-ass loser bitch. Delete that picture of me off your fucking phone. Fuck wrong with your ashy ass. Hey, so editing Ike here. So my friend just sent me more screenshots of stuff that this person was saying about me. But I was out when they sent me the screenshot, so I'm literally going to do like a live reading right now and just debunk all of these lies that they made up about me on their Twitter account. And that's one thing about me. People don't know that I really have shooters out here like that. So they sent me these screenshots, so we're gonna get into these because from the stuff that I skimmed over while I was out, this is some real bullshit. Like, they're literally making stuff up about me, and I'm not just gonna let someone like spread lies about me and not defend myself. Like, bitch. So this will be going off script. So let's go through this bullshit together. So this is what this loser wrote on their Twitter account. They said, going privy for a while because I spoke to a popular artist and forgot people can be weird, lol. TLDR, it is very weird and certainly a choice to be a thin person profiting off of fat people, being obsessed with fat people and drawing yourself as fat while never having to experience the reality and oppression of being fat. So there's already a lot to unpack in just this one part, right? So first of all, I don't know where you're getting this notion that I'm obsessed with fat people and drawing myself as fat. If you think I look fat in that picture, then you're just a fucking dumbass. Like, no one looks at that picture and thinks I look fat. Yeah, my hips are wide, but having wide hips doesn't make you fat. Do you fucking know what fat means, bitch? Anyways, and also, all of my OCs aren't even fat. Like, I have plenty of OCs who are not fat. For example, Flo is not fat. Teresa is not fat. Brandy and Penelope both are not fat. Nelly is not fat. Applesauce is not fat. Burger and fries are not fat. And many, many, many other OCs of mine are not fat. Or I would not classify them as fat. Here are some of my OCs that I would classify as fat, by the way, just for a comparison. They may have fat asses or fat thighs, but having a fat ass doesn't automatically make you fat. That's not how it works. So obviously your idea of what fat is warped to begin with. So let's start there, okay? And next they say that I'm profiting off of fat people. Where? Because I draw fat people and have a Patreon that makes me a bad guy and I'm profiting off of fat people. Man, grow the fuck up. And then also they say, while never having to experience the reality and oppression of being fat. Yes, I have. I was literally fat as a kid. Like, I didn't think I had to come on the internet and explain my life story to people. But when I was a kid, I was fat. Like, I was that fat kid back in the 2000s. And then my mom told me that I was getting too fat. And so, you know, right around the cusp of when I was hitting puberty, my mom put me on a strict diet. And yeah, and I think this part really pissed me off the most because first of all, you don't fucking know me. You don't know anything about me. Just because I'm thin now, you're assuming I've never been fat and never experienced being fat. I've literally been bullied from like end of elementary school up until high school. Well, in high school, I got bullied for other things, but from like end of elementary school to middle school, I literally got bullied for being a big girl. So, fuck are you talking about? Anyways, let's continue. So many of your followers thought you were fat, all while you've been fetishizing it because that's what it is. Who thought I was fat? I never said I was fat. Like I said, if you look at those drawings of me and think I look fat, then you're just like, you're not very smart. Like, that's not what fat people look like. Having big hips doesn't make you fat. You want to be fat, you want to gain weight, sure, fine, whatever, dude. I never said I wanted to be fat. I just said I'm trying to gain weight. I never said I wanted to be fat. But to be lying to people that you're fat when you are not, and specifically choosing to draw yourself as fat, is very weird, and I decided to ask them about it publicly because I'm sure most people didn't know they weren't fat and was met with anything but an answer. Bitch, I gave you an answer and then you just blocked me and deleted your reply. After I gave you the most polite response I could muster, I literally could have just blocked you right there or told you to fuck off, but I decided that you deserved an explanation, but you decided it wasn't good enough, so now I'm the bad guy, I guess. And what do you mean most people thought I was fat? Who is this most people? I have over 14,000 followers. If anyone ever told me or I got a hint that people thought I was fat, I would correct them. Like, oh, no, I'm not fat, or I'm not fat anymore. Like, sorry, like, if you thought I was fat because I made my hips wide, but I'm not fat. You're just literally just making shit up to make me look worse. Like, bitch, you're weird as fuck. Like, calling me weird, you're the one with a picture of me saved on your phone. The fuck? Also, the way that this dummy is trying to claim that just because they thought I was fat, then everyone else thought I was fat. Bitch, I post pictures of myself on my Twitter account. Maybe not all the time, but I've posted it enough to where people would know that I'm not fat. And the way I draw myself is not fat. It's not my fault that you don't know what fat people look like. Having big hips doesn't make you fat. Like, I don't know how many times I have to say this, but obviously you can't get it through your head. Having wide hips doesn't make you fat. And now I'm the bad guy because you took your assumption as fact. Even though you have a whole picture of me saved to your phone, so you already knew that I'm not fat. So, like, what the fuck is really going on? Also, if I was really trying to pass myself off as fat, why the fuck would I be casually posting pictures of myself on Maine? Like, let's use our critical thinking skills here. Don't blame the fact that you're very unintelligent and delusional on me, because how you perceive me is not my responsibility. So anyone could look at all of these pictures that I've drawn of myself and know that I'm obviously not fat. Like, that's not what fat people look like. Like, the fuck? And if you think that's what fat people look like, then if you saw me as a kid, you would have thought I was morbidly obese because, bitch, having wide hips doesn't make you fat. That's not how it works. And I think all artists should learn how to draw people from all sizes, but those a part of oppressed groups usually tend to want to support and follow those who understand their oppression and who look like them. I followed this artist because I assumed they were a fat black lesbian like me. It feels very weird that this artist who only draws fat people draws himself to look like me. The way they're literally victimizing themselves based off of a reply that was as mildly polite as possible is just so deranged. I really do not have the words for it right now. Like, I literally just want to bust out laughing right now. But, oh Lord, please go outside. I didn't draw myself to look like you. Who the fuck even are you? I didn't even know you existed until you started making up shit about me. The fuck? You're weird as fuck. I do not know you. I do not know what you look like. What the fuck does that mean? Mind you, this person is a whole 32-year-old. 32 years old. Also, if you look like this, then I have some bad news for you. You're probably not actually fat. Ooh, sorry. Hate to break it to you. It feels dishonest, fetishy even. I don't know, man. Artists are weirdos nowadays. I shouldn't be surprised. Yet you're the one who has a picture of me saved to your phone. I don't know if you scrolled back 6 months just to get the picture, or if you had that picture of me saved on your phone for 6 months, but the call is coming from inside the house. Like, I'm not the weird one in this scenario. I gave you an answer. You immediately blocked me. You said it was not an answer. I explained myself. You didn't like that I didn't just bend to your will and kiss your ass, and now you're saying that I'm weird, I'm a fetishist, I'm this, I'm that, making assumptions about me. You do not know me. Do not go around telling people shit about me when you do not know shit about me, because clearly you're delusional. You do not know what you're talking about, okay? So, yeah, this is my first time going through these screenshots, so this was kind of like a live reading. So I just want to like go through it and debunk it, because like one thing I can't stand is when people like fucking spread lies about me. That's why, like, I don't like searching myself up online or like doing anything like that, because like really pisses me off when I can't defend myself. And like it's I like to say it's kind of like stemmed from like when I got bullied when I was younger, and I would just kind of take it. But now that I'm older, like, you know, I don't take shit like that anymore. Like, I get like really like pissed off. So like the fact that this person like is using the fact that I'm an artist and I have a lot of followers as like a means of I can't defend myself, and that makes me weird. Like, I'm still a human. Like, people were not joking when they said that you get a certain amount of followers and people stop treating you like you're human. Like, I did not look like this since I was born. I did not come up the womb thin. I was not thin all through my childhood. I've experienced being fat. I've navigated this world being fat before. And because my parents were, you know, concerned for my health, quote unquote, they, you know, put me on a strict diet, and that's why I'm as thin as I am. Not to mention that I have several mental problems, which is why it's hard for me to retain weight. So it's not about me wanting to look like you, whoever the fuck you are, or wanting to be fat. It's just that I'm like nearing being like underweight. So like, you know, it's just like things like that. Like, I just can't stand when like people talk about me, and I just feel the need to defend myself. So that's why I don't like, you know, searching myself up in like Twitter results and stuff. So yeah, like if you dislike me, I don't give a damn, but don't you dare go around fucking spreading lies about me, bitch. Like, that's weird as fuck. Like, keep my name at your mouth. Oh my god. Delete that picture of me off your phone, you creep. That's fucking weird. Call me weird. The calls come from inside the house. Anyways, I will continue to draw and show my appreciation for fat ladies and women, so please support me and look forward to it. Also, just real quick before we move on, this newsfeed page on the screen is of Mother Time. It was actually a piece I started back in December. It was basically me just thinking about like, damn, it's really gonna be 2024. Like 2004 was like 20 years ago. That's fucking crazy. So that's why I drew that picture. And even though it's late as hell, I feel like it still works, because it feels like we're only 2 months into the year, and it feels like that 2024 is already a fucking roller coaster. Like, it's like, what the hell, slow down. So I feel like this drawing still works anyway. So yeah, that's the speed paint. And of course, I changed it from Father Time to Mother Time. And of course, Mother Time is this beautiful, big old lady. No surprise there. But yeah, just want to throw that in there real quick. And the last one for this video is another ex-mutual of mine. I'm going to be calling him Peanut because his brain is the size of a peanut, okay? So we've been mutual since like 2017, 2018, I think. When we first became mutuals, he had a relatively small audience, like under 1,000 followers small. Last time I checked, which was like over a year ago, so it could be more, it could be less, it could be the same. But he had over 20,000 followers, I think. Anyways, I thought he was cool. I really enjoyed his art, and he enjoyed mine. So, okay, cool. He followed my private account at that time, and I will admit I was wrong in this situation, right? So I don't remember exactly what I said, but I said something insanely ignorant about people addicted to a certain drug. And I don't remember if he straight DM'd me or if he replied to me under my tweet first or begged me or what. But I think he replied to me first, and then I DM'd him to apologize for making such an ignorant comment. And he told me that he forgave me, that we were cool. So naturally, I thought we were cool. And that was done. And so, fast forward 3 or 4 years later, the nigga gets his account suspended suddenly, and then makes a whole stink about it on Twitter instead of just remaking a new account and letting their mutuals know like a normal person. And when I say a big stink, I mean that he was literally making hashtags, mutuals were yelling about a bunch of stuff involving a video game, which I'm pretty sure had absolutely nothing to do with him getting suspended. But anyways, I had followed him on his new account to show him support, because I know what it's like to get your account taken away from you. And I get it. When you first make a new account on Twitter after getting suspended, the notifications are wonky. There are a bunch of people following you all at once, so you don't see when a mutual follows you immediately. That's fine. So to show him that I had followed him on his new account, I was like interacting with him a little more, replying to him and all that. And it really didn't take long before I realized I was actively being ignored. Now, I'm the type of person where if I even get a hint, a whiff that I'm being ignored or I'm not welcome, bitch, I'm gone. You don't gotta tell me twice. I'll show myself out, okay? So I unfollowed him and I went about my day. It was just kind of weird and jarring as fuck, because just a couple of months ago or so, before he got suspended, he was in my mentions telling me how much he loved my bimbo SpongeBob designs and how he talks about them all the time in his little server or whatever, but okay. Mind you, that's not why this nigga is in this weirdo video. I have mutuals who soft block me all the time or not follow me back on a new account. Doesn't make them a weirdo, okay? So you in the video because you did some weird shit to me. There was one point where he got his old account back, but I had just figured that he had me on mute or something. So taking the hint, I soft blocked him on his old account too and moved on. Fast forward some more months later or so, why do I hear from one of my besties? If you're watching this, hey bestie, tell me why one of my besties tell me that this deranged bitch is going around telling people he don't like me because I say ignorant shit about drug addicts. Bitch, what? Like, shut your bitch ass up. I said one ignorant thing about addicts when I was a dumbass 21-year-old. And then when you rightfully got on my ass, I apologized to you directly for what I said and you accepted it. If it wasn't actually okay, why the fuck didn't you just say that? Second of all, that has to be a fucking lie, because since then, Peanut has not only told me how much they liked my projects like Red and Teresa and, you know, my SpongeBob human designs, but he had also fucking commissioned me since then. I still have the picture and everything. If you were still so mad about what I said all those years ago, why the fuck would you commission me to draw your OC getting beat down? You have got to dislike me for some other reason, because that shit don't make no sense. And I know that reason is petty as fuck, because why else would you feel the need to lie to people about something I said almost a decade ago, you bird-brained loser? And that's fine. I really don't care if you personally dislike me. I don't give a fuck. But don't go around telling people shit about me that's not true to get them to dislike me too, you scatterbrained bitch. And I know I said that Peanut was going to be the last one for this video, but I also wanted to talk about another ex-mutual of mine real quick. So this is the final one for real, and buckle up because this is gonna be probably the longest section in the video. So I'm going to name this mutual Bonehead. The reason why should be obvious. Now, Bonehead and I had become mutuals before they blew up and became mega popular on Twitter. This is basically the same case as Peanut, where they were under 1,000 followers, but their art was super cool at the time. They blew up essentially from drawing fan art of certain anime characters as furries. I'm not going to say which anime because that might give it away, but some of you might have clocked it already. But whatever. So yeah, they quickly grew an audience from that because their art was pretty unique. And I think that we followed each other on private at one point, but this was years ago, so I could be wrong. Anyways, it got to the point when things started to get kind of weird. I'm pretty sure we became mutuals in either 2017 or 2018 because I just found some old ass screenshots and they're dated from 2018. So I was like 21 years old at this time. Anyways, I almost forgot about this little situation because looking back, it was kind of petty, but it's still like, bro, what the fuck? I'm going to put the screenshots up on the screen as I'm talking, but apparently Bonehead and I shared a mutual who was asking for money to get out of a bad home situation. For some reason, this irrelevant white queer called that mutual of ours asking for help a scammer, with no proof or reasoning as to how they're a scammer. Now, I don't remember who was the person in question asking for emergency funds, so I can neither confirm nor deny if they actually were a scammer or not, but I doubt it. I just remembered that they lived with religious nuts, and another mutual of mine confirmed that the mutual in question was black. So, yeah. White queers not beating the racism allegations with this one, I fear. But all I can say is that this person got really pissy over what both me and Bonehead had said about them, to the point of posting screenshots of us on their account and called us smelly. Like, that's some real white people shit. And one of my mutuals, who is still my mutual to this day, by the way, hey bestie, one of my mutuals asked them, why the hell did you post this even though they deleted it already? And then they said that it was mostly at me, even though I wasn't even the one who quote retweeted them. It was Bonehead who did that. I just responded like how other people respond to that post. Like, why the hell am I being singled out? Like, like all I did was call you a dickhead, dude. Chill the fuck out. This is one of the reasons why I don't really talk to my mutuals off of my private account like that anymore. I do all of my shit talking over there now, so yeah. Then my mutual showed me some DMs between them and Bonehead, and I guess they lied that it was me who shit talked the white queer, even though there's proof right there that they were the one who was talking shit about them first before I ever even said anything. Like, that was the first red flag. I don't know why I didn't block their weird ass after that, because that is some real childish shit. And it is a real foreboding sign of how they never take accountability for any of their own actions. And apparently they were a minor at the time, which I had no idea because they didn't have their age anywhere in their bio and said something about taking finals in the wintertime. So I assumed that they were in college like me. But I guess Bonehead got the words finals and midterms mixed up or something. I don't know. Anyways, here things get a little fuzzy and confusing. Because I moved accounts quite a few times between 2018 and 2020. So hell if I know the correct sequence of events. But essentially, as time went on, they drew more and more suggestive art and sacrificed their more visually appealing and interesting art to do so. Like I said, at the time I did not know they were minors, so I didn't really say anything about it. But they're also tweeting a lot of like graphic and suicidal things on their main account, and it was just getting too much to the point where I just muted them because it was just becoming too much for me. Like, whoa. And at some point they had soft blocked me, which I didn't figure out for a while, and later they told me that they soft blocked me because they didn't want me to see them posting all that dark ass shit. And actually, now that I think about it, I think Bonehead had apologized to me at one point, either just for soft blocking me, which I really didn't care all that much, or for the childish stunt that they had pulled by shifting all of the blame onto me to avoid the consequences of their own actions. Anyways, they apologized to me for something. I accepted their apology and we became mutuals again. And then after that, I think either I soft blocked them on my old account or I just never refollowed them on my new account. Either one, because I don't remember if I saw something and went, okay, that's it, or I got tired of all the doomer tweets. But at some point, I broke the mutual. And then Sometime after that was when I found out that they were a minor and was surprised. And I'm not even going to lie. Sometimes I can't help but feel bad because this artist ended up drawing super suggestive stuff. And if you know my art, I draw really suggestive art too. So as you've seen on this channel. So I feel like they got inspired and wanted to draw stuff like me and other artists that they looked up to at the time. And normally I would think that I don't really have much effect on the direction of someone's art or anyone's art really, but I remember at one point they literally told me that I was one of their favorite artists. So it was just like, oh, good lord. But yeah, they got into controversy after controversy for being underage and drawing suggestive shit. Especially because their audience was fairly large at the time. They were like nearing 100,000 followers. So yeah. After I found out that shit, I'm glad I decided to leave their ass alone. But even then, it's like they were always popping up on my TL because they were always in something. There was always something going on with them. And that's how and why their huge ass following of a bunch of impressionable ass minors turned into a rabid mob who would attack literally anyone who dared to say anything remotely negative about Bonehead. Bonehead was always the victim in their eyes, therefore Bonehead was very easily able to avoid taking responsibility for their own actions for a long ass time. Especially after they turned 18 and insisted on having Rugrats online interact with them and their horny ass art, but we will get to that in a second. Literally the last time Bonehead interacted with me was when I came out as lesbian in August of 2021, and they congratulated me and then refollowed me. I mean, at this time they were over 18, not that that matters because I just ignored them. Like, bro, I'm not following your weird ass back. And then things started getting concerning. Like, how they made a big fucking deal about just putting no minors or 18 plus or something like that in their bio, even though I heard that not too long after their 18th birthday they were saying how they hated minors or something, only to then claim that their account was a safe space for minors. Like, bro, your art is mostly Coomer bait. What the hell do you mean by your account is a safe space for minors? And let's not even get into how they were misusing trans terms all the time, and their art was wildly inconsistent, and it was clear that they were tracing in some of their artwork. But yeah, they were just really fucking weird about kids. Not only were they insisting that their account filled with horny ass art was safe for kids, but also they encouraged interactions between them and their largely minor audience by retweeting a bunch of fan art of their OCs and persona mascot thing from children as young as like 13 years old. No matter how suggestive or inappropriate the interaction between Bonehead's lame ass Sona and the child Sona was, it was like really disgusting. And had this been anyone else, they would have been ran off the internet in under like 24 hours. But people kept excusing their actions because they were black and gay and transgender. Y'all really only want to protect black and trans people when they do some depraved, degenerate shit. Like, I blocked another ex-mutual of mine because they're fighting for their life to defend them and had the most brain dead take ever I've ever read in my life. I will never forget it. They said something along the lines of, y'all are only going after Bonehead because they're black and trans. If you really had a problem with kids being exposed to inappropriate content, why don't you go after any other NSFW artist or corn sites? And it's like, oh my god, there's no way y'all this fucking dense. Corn sites and other NSFW adjacent artists do not openly welcome minors, nor do they claim that their art, site, and account is a safe space for Rugrats. Like, what the hell is not clicking? Like, people on Twitter are really not smart. Oh god, but it was so crazy because Bonehead would keep apologizing for the same shit. Like every 2 weeks, lock their account, mess with their bio like 20 times, and then unlock the account without actually like doing the thing they said that they were going to do, and then continue to draw softcore porn for kids. It all finally came to a head when Bonehead literally got caught, or should I say exposed, for regularly interacting with a kid. I think they were like 14, but don't quote me on that, and literally teaching them how to get away with drawing like suggestive and horny art at their age, and everyone really had the gall to be shocked. Like be fucking for real right now. Like, what? No way. You're telling me that the horny Twitter artist who constantly insisted on continuing to interact with children and maintaining their audience mostly consisting of rugrats hooked on baby's first coomer bait was having inappropriate conversations with a minor? How could we have ever seen this coming? Like, wow. It's almost like if people took their weird ass behavior seriously, all of this could have been prevented. Looking back, it's even funnier because Bonehead literally got caught being besties with a pedophile and people still defended them. Like, I know their ass knew that person was a fucking creep, because not only were they on Twitter for literal years like me, but they were more online than me. When I woke up, they were online. When I was in the middle of class, they were online. When I was going to bed, they would be online. Like, log the fuck out and go to sleep at least. So yeah, I think their creepy ass knew all along, because they got all defensive when people pointed it out before backtracking, claiming that they didn't know, even though people were literally providing Bonehead with the proof and receipts of the person in question literally being into kids. But you know what they say, birds of a feather flock together. One of my friends who is actually in the music scene told me that now they've retreated to a Discord group chat filled with a bunch of groomers and pedophiles who've been ostracized from their community last time that they checked. So there you go. And that, everyone, is my experience with weirdos on Twitter and why I use the block button so liberally these days. I still have some more stories to share, but this video is already like an hour long, so there will be a part 2 in the future. I hope you enjoyed watching a video on the longer side. It definitely took me way longer to complete and edit and everything, but I think it was worth it. It was almost therapeutically cathartically therapeutic. I'm so glad I'm not monetized on YouTube yet, because they would have flagged this video immediately. Like, when I get pissed off, I start cursing like a sailor. But yeah, feel free to let me know about your own experience with weirdos online. It doesn't have to be Twitter specifically, of course. It could be any other website on the internet. For my next video, I will be doing another art vlog, and then after that, I will be doing the Carol and the End of the World review, and I will be doing another poll in my community tab sometime soon. So please have notifications on and be on the lookout for that. But thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of this long ass video. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to my Patreon if you are able to do so. And yeah, I am now going to draw, drink water, and rest my voice after talking for so damn long. Bye!